name is Miss Jennifer, and I'm a teaching artist in the PACE Art program. We integrate the arts with the classroom curriculum. I'll be working with you all year through these videos. I am excited to be able to make art with you each week. We're going to explore lots of different subjects through the school year. We're coming to you today thanks to the Acadiana Center for the Arts and the Lafayette Parish School System. You can find these videos anytime through the Lafayette Parish School System website and the Acadiana Center for the Arts YouTube channel. You'll recognize some of the things you're learning with your teacher, but we'll be learning about them through visual arts and creative movement. You might be watching today from your classroom or even watching from home. So let me introduce myself. My name is Jennifer Herbert, and I am a visual artist. A visual artist is a person that makes art that you can see with your eyes and also that you can make with your hands. How many of you like to make art? Wow, it sure looks like a lot of you like to make art, and that makes me really excited because we are going to be making lots of fun art together this year. So I want to take a little time to show you the different kinds of art that I make. I like to use sketchbooks, which are books that basically have white paper in them. How many of you have seen a sketchbook before? Wow, I'm excited that you know what a sketchbook is. So I'm going to show you a couple of drawings that I made in the sketchbook. So here, I made what, boys and girls? You're right, a butterfly, and this is a drawing made out of pencil. Good job. And here is another one that I made. It's a drawing, and I colored this one with markers. How many of you like to use markers? Oh, I love using markers. I'm so happy that you like them too. And here is another one. And for this one, I used paper, and I cut out that paper and glued all the pieces together to make a picture. So again, I like to draw in a sketchbook. I also like to make art in you guessed it, a book. And I like to make art on all of the pages. I also like to put things hanging down that are kind of shiny and kind of clanky and make noise. And in this book, I make art. Now please know that if you are wanting to make art in a book, make sure that you ask your parents or your grandparents or whoever you live with if it is okay to use that book. This book I found in the dumpster, and it had lots of pages torn out of it, so it was okay for me to use it. And in my books, I like to make art. And here are some pages that I made using markers and just a couple of things that I found along the way. And here is another one. And I think you're going to recognize what these two pages are about. Yes, you guessed it. They're about birds and eggs and things that have to do with birds. So that is one book. And I also sometimes I like to work in a smaller book. And again, make sure that you ask permission from someone before you use a book. And here I want to show you a couple of things that I did. I just kind of colored and glued things onto my pages. And here is another one. So there you go. So again, I like to hang things off of my book. I also make paintings in my free time, and I just love making all kinds of art. Now that you know more about me, let's make some art together. Today, we are going to learn about lines, all kinds of lines. We are going to practice drawing the lines, and then we're going to make a picture together. All you will need today is a sheet of paper, a black crayon, and just an assortment of different color crayons. So boys and girls, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about different kinds of lines. And I'm going to be using these cards to show you each of the lines that we're going to learn today. So now you need to pick up your black crayon and get your white sheet of paper in front of you. The first line that we're going to learn today is a straight line. Can we say that together? Straight line. Very good. Let's say it one more time. Straight line. Say it together. Straight line. Good job. Are you ready to draw that line now? Let's get our crayon, and I'm going to put my line here for you to look at it. I'm going to start on this side of my paper, and I'm going to go straight line, just like this. Now, let's try that again. So we're going to start on this side, and we're going to go straight line. Good job. All right, now let's do the next one together. Start here, and remember we're going all the way to the other side of our paper. And what kind of line are we making? You're right, a straight line. So let's put our crayon on our paper, and remember we're going all the way across to the other side of our paper. And let's begin. Going all the way to the other side of our paper. Good job. Now you have your straight line. We're going to move on to a new kind of line now. And our new line is a fancy line. It is called a curve line. Let's say it together. Curve line. Let's say it one more time. Curve line. Are you ready to draw it now? Right. Let's do this. So Miss Jennifer will draw it first, and then we'll draw it together after, okay? So we're going to start here on the bottom, and this time we're going to go up and around, and down to the bottom. So let's start here at the bottom, and we're going to go up and around and down back to the bottom. Ooh, that's a really fun one, isn't it? So let's try that. All right, here we go. Start at the bottom. Make sure you give yourself enough space. And we're going to go down from the bottom, up to the top, and down to the bottom. So here we go. Let's draw this together. Start down at the bottom, up and around to the top, and back to the bottom. Awesome. So now we have straight line and curve line. The next line I really like. It is a wavy line, just like you're waving at somebody. Wavy line. And this one you start at the bottom, up and around, down and around, and back to the top, around and stop. Now this is a little bit harder to draw, so I'm going to go really slow on this one, okay? Here we go. So I'm going to leave some space, and I'm going to start here. And I'm going to go up and around and down, kind of like I made my curve line, but this time I want to keep on going. So I'm going to put my crayon back down, and I'm going to go up and around, down, and then up and around and back to the bottom. So it's up and around, down and back, up and around, down and back, up and around, and down to the bottom and stop. Wasn't that a fun line? Let's do it together. All right, so here we go. So up and around, down and down, and stop. Good job. Now, let's try the next one together. Remember, leave enough space so that you can fit all of your lines. So about right here, we're going to go up and around and down and around, up and around and down and around and back to the bottom. Good job. Right, the next line is my favorite line. And what do you think that might be? Well, it's a zigzag line. How many of you like a zigzag line? Raise your hand up high. Good job. This is my favorite one, and I hope it's your favorite one too. This is a fun one to make. All right, so I'll do it first. I'm gonna leave a little space, and here I go. I'm gonna go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, just like that. Wasn't that fun? All right, let's do it together. Get your crayon and up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Good job. All right, now we're going to do this one together. All right, leave some space and go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And notice, they don't have to be the same size. They're still two zigzag lines. Awesome. Oh, I bet your zigzag lines are amazing. All right, the next line that we're going to work on is this line. This is a dotted line. This one has a dot and then a space, a dot, a space, a dot, a space, dot, space, dot, space, dot, space, dot, space. Awesome. So what we're going to do for this one is we're going to use our crayon and we're just going to kind of put a little dot on our paper just like this, okay? So I'm going to do it first. So dot, and I need to leave a space, dot, leave a space, dot, leave a space, dot, leave a space, and dot. And that is my dotted line. All right, let's do it together. All right, so dot, space, dot, space, dot, space, dot, space, dot, and space. So there's my dot. Awesome. Let's do this one together. So dot, space, dot, space, dot, space, dot, space, and dot. Very good. Look at those amazing lines that you're drawing. And we have one more. This one is our dashed line. Say it together. Dashed line. Good job. And this one kind of looks like rectangles, but all we're going to do is we're just going to draw a line, a space, a line, a space, a line, a space, and a line. All right, here we go. Now I'm going to draw mine over to the side right here. And I'm just going to simply draw a line and then a space. A line, a space, a line, and a space. Look how easy that is. All right, so let's draw it together. Get your crayon, dash, leave a space, dash, leave a space, dash, leave a space, and dash. All right, and the next one we're going to do together again. And here we go. Dash, leave a space, dash, leave a space, dash, leave a space, and dash. Awesome. Those lines look amazing. Good job. And so now we've learned all of the lines that we need, and we're going to be taking these lines and we're going to make a picture out of them. And we're going to make a picture of a lion. So let's make sure that we are getting ready by taking our paper, and we want to turn it around so that you're looking at the white side of the paper. All right, so we are getting ready to start drawing our picture, and we are going to use all of the lines that you just learned to draw your picture. And the picture that we're going to draw is this one. We are going to be using our lines to draw a lion picture. And so here is what a lion looks like. And lions are large cats. They are the second largest cat in the world. Do you know that tigers are the largest cats in the world? Isn't that amazing? And so we are going to be using our black crayon on our white paper that you should have in front of you. And let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the nose of our lion first. Remember, we're using these lines to draw our lion. All right, so we're going to look at our paper, and I want you to take your black crayon, and I just want you to put a dot in the middle of the paper. In the middle is about right here. If you didn't get it right in the middle, it's okay. So here is my dot. Now I'm going to use my straight line right over my dot. And so I'm going to start about here, and I'm going to go across and stop. Now we're still going to use our straight line again. Now what I want you to do is I want you to go right underneath, and I want you to leave a space and put a dot right in the middle, just like that. Good job. Now you're going to start from this corner to your dot, and we're going to use our straight line, and we're going to go down. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to start at the top, and we're going to draw down to our dot. And there we go. We have now just made our lion's what? Nose. Good job. We're going to use that straight line again. And right at the bottom of, do you know what shape this might be? If you said a triangle, good job. Now we're going to draw a straight line. So we're going to start at the bottom dot, and we're just going to draw a line and stop. Good job. Now we're going to use our next line. But for this line, we're going to do something magic. We're going to take this line and we're going to turn it over, because it does not matter which way we put our lines. They are still lines. We're going to take our curved line that was this way. We're turning it over so that it sort of looks like a smile. Good job. So here we go. We're going to make a curve to the line. Awesome. And then we're going to start from here, and we're going to do it again, and we're going to make another curve. That looks really good, boys and girls. Wow. All right, are you ready to move on? Good deal. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our straight line, and we're going to do one straight line on this side and one straight line on this side, making sure that you leave a white space between both of your lines. All right, so guess what? That curved line that I turned over, I'm going to turn it over again. So I'm taking it from a happy smile to what does this look like if I have it on my face? You're right, a sad face. And so now I'm going to use that line upside down. And here I'm going to make a curve going this way. That's going to be his eyebrow. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. His eyebrow on the other side. So we used our curved line. Now we're going to use a shape. And our shape is going to be a circle. So right underneath our curved line, we're going to draw a big circle. Just like this. What do you think that circle might be, boys and girls? If you said his eye, you were right. So we're going to draw one on this side, but what we do on this side, we're going to do on this side. So let's draw another circle. It does not matter if they're not the same size. It is okay. Oh, those are some nice circles. Inside of my circle, I'm going to color in another circle on both eyes. Just like that. Nice. All right, so you did it to this one. Now let's do it to the other one. Good job. All right, so now we want to make something here. Boys and girls, what do you see on a cat's face that goes just like this on both sides of his face? If you said a cat's whiskers, you are correct. Good job. So now we're going to use our straight line and we're going to go 1, 2. All right, let's do that now. 1, 2. Awesome. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. So here's 1 and 2. Awesome. So now you have this one drawn. Let's work on this one. So 2 on each side. Very good. I now have my lion's face. But I need to do something next. I need to draw this big circle all the way around his face. To do that, we're going to start at the top. So right about here on top of his head, we're going to go all the way around with the circle and back to the top. Now don't worry, if your circle doesn't look just like a circle, it's okay, because a lion's face isn't always round. Sometimes the fur is kind of like wavy on the side, so it is okay. Let's start at the top, go around to the bottom, and back to the top. Good job. Now let's do that together. Start at the top and around to the bottom and back to the top. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to finish that. And remember, it's okay. If it's not a perfect circle, that's perfect. It will be just fine. Good job. All right, it looks like most of you are finishing up your circle. So we're going to move on to the next part. And the next part will be these two pieces. What do you think those are called? Well, if you said those are ears on both sides, you were right. Good job. So now let's use our curved line and let's draw our ears. All right, so we are going to actually make our curved line here and here on the top of our lion's head. All right, so here we go. So we're going to use our curved line again, and we're going to start up right here, and we're going to go up and around and down. We're going to leave a space, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. 2 curved lines. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing on the inside. 2 smaller curved lines. Good job. All right, and so the female lion, or the mom lion, is the hunter. She looks like this, and she hunts for food for her babies. And her babies are so cute. They are called cubs or lionettes. Let's say that lionettes together. Ready? And lionettes. Good job. And so we're now going to work on the body of our lion. And we're going to use this curved line again. starting at the bottom of his head and going off to the edge of the paper. Curved line. And now we have another one on the other side. So one on one side, one on the other side. Good job. All right, we are about to start making all of our lines on the outside of his head. And that set of lines on the outside of his head is going to be the part of the lion's mane. So if you look at the lion here, there's lots of hair going outside of his face, just like this. And here is another one with all of the hair around. So those lines are going to become the mane on your lion's head. All right, so let's just get started with our lines. Maybe we'll start at the top and we will maybe draw our zigzag line. Remember, up, down, up, down, up, down. So here we go, up, down, up, down, up, down. Zigzag line. And the next line that we're going to draw is our wavy line. Up and around, up and around. And how about we draw it here, up and around, up and around. And you know what? Let's do the same thing on the other side. Up and around, up and around. Good job. All right, now we're going to use our dotted line. And remember, we have spaces in between. So dot, space, dot, space, dot, space, dot, space. Awesome. And let's do that one more time on the other side. Dot, space, dot, space, dot, space, dot, space. Very good. And now we're going to draw our dash line. So dash, space, dash, space, dash, space. Awesome. And let's do the same thing on the other side. Dash, space, dash, space, dash, space. Good job. I like your lines. And then let's practice our curve line. So maybe right here we can start at his face and we can go up and around. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Up and around. Good job. So we are now finished drawing our lines. So boys and girls, now that we have all of our lines on our paper and we have finished drawing our lion, the next thing that you could do when you have time is you can color your picture, and you can use those nice colors that you have to color your picture any color that you would want. And also, if you decide you want to add more lines to your picture, if you look here, this is a picture that a student did some time ago, and they went back and they added lines in between to make their mane fill up the paper. So if you want to do that, you can also add any of these lines, or maybe even all of them, onto your lion's mane. So thank you for joining me today. We learned about 6 different kinds of lines. So we learned about a straight line, curved line, wavy line, zigzag line, dotted line, and dash line. And we also learned about lions. As you go through your week, try to notice lines on the walls in your classroom, maybe on the posters that your teacher has up on the wall. And enjoy the rest of your day, and I can't wait to see you again next